I'm John Clark. My company is Sunshine Prosthetics. Welcome to the Academy of Orthotists and Prosthetists Mentoring Moments, where we'll be taking the questions that they provide monthly to mentors and proteges and answering them for the benefit of all. And September's question, 2020, starts off with what areas of the profession interest you and when did you become interested in these? And part of that is also, do you think new graduates should identify areas of interest or wait a period of time in order to establish a broad understanding of the profession? And I'm going to say yes. So let me explain. If you got an interest, pursue it. Ask questions, do the deep dive, find a way to go get more experience in that. It's fantastic to have an interest and pursue it. But you might not have opportunities that you first initially think you should have. A little slice. There's an awful lot of people that would love to be upper extremity specialists. And yet, the nature of our profession is that that's not a huge patient population. And most people that even specialize in upper extremity prosthetics have to wind up doing lower extremity prosthetics as well. So, wow, by all means, if that's a little thing that you're seriously into, go after it. But be understanding too that you might not have the business opportunities when it comes to pursuing that full time, even if you become really excellent at it. Certainly, if you don't pursue it, you never figure out. Now, another way this plays out is frequently you'll have a teacher in school that just is so excited about what they do that that's contagious. And so you're like, here's a specialty for me. But you might discover once you're out of school that doesn't pull through all the way. That it's like, wow, I can understand why they were excited about that. But now that I'm engaged with people that are excited about their particular specialty, there's a lot more to learn. There's other things to be excited about. I'll give you a particular example. One of my residents just had an interest in 3D printing early on, and this is when Enabled, was getting a lot of press, which that was an organization that took engineers and volunteers and trying to print 3D prosthetics for upper extremity patients. So she wanted to go to an Enabled event. It was in Baltimore. And I said, yeah, go for it. I think she was one of 5 prosthetists in a crowd of 1,500 people. So was that fantastic experience and opportunity? And those other 5 included upper extremity specialists in our field, and she's there present with just that small crowd. Could she well represent our field in the context of this crowd of volunteers and engineers? Yeah. And so, great, unique opportunity because of her particular interest. Now, usually when I'm doing educational things with physical therapists, I intentionally ask them to put up their hands and say, so how many of you imagined working in skilled nursing facilities? A lot of times I'm doing these in skilled nursing facilities. And this is a great example of, your journey might not be what you imagined. Most physical therapists didn't get in the field to work with old people. But guess what? It's where a lot of the business is. And an awful lot of Orthotists and prosthetists have this image of, I'm going to take care of Paralympic athletes. That's not where the business is. Now, I have taken care of world record holders and Paralympic athletes, and it's because of my interest that gave me those opportunities, because it involved some pursuit. But much more valuable to me in my experience in my career was the fact that right out of school, in the context of the business that I was working in, I was recognized as caring for, frankly, the old ladies. I didn't set out to be a geriatric specialist. It happened upon me. And the cool thing about it is they're more involved, more challenging, tougher to take care of. And most of our field just doesn't care for them very well. And so as my career developed, I had the opportunity to get exceptionally good at caring for this patient population, which frankly gave me skills that people taking care of younger people never develop. And in taking care of a population that wasn't well cared for, it gave me opportunities to continue to care. In doing that and in taking care of the folks that 6 or 7 prosthetists had tried and really failed, and being the solution, you get the reps, you get the opportunity to take care of a much broader patient population. So sometimes where you wind up is an accident of the space that you're in, or what somebody else might not like, and you do. So figuring that out and rolling with it is sort of key and crucial. Now, talked about, if you have weird interests, I would tell you, yes, my vocation, prosthetics and orthotics, drives so many of my avocations, my interests. When I first got in the field, the gentleman I worked for had come out of boat building. So they'd been laid off at a shipbuilder, and O&P was offered as one of their pathways of education. And so the kind of skills that they brought and what I got to see used just occasionally gave me an interest in metals and what you can do. And I have found that I really enjoy forging knives and grinding knives and making knives. And all of the skills that I'd learned in orthotics and prosthetics, beveling and angles and finishing and hardness and material science, means that when I got into the hobby of knife making, I had huge skills compared to somebody coming in cold. It made me appreciate those cross-pollinating skills, and that I have put some of my residents through a knife making course because we don't have a highly technical residency. And so it just gives them a time where the pressure's off and they can make something that builds their grinding, bevel, angles, hand skills. Another quirky example. So in my interviews, I frequently ask, so tell me about the difference between titanium and steel. I ask it because there's subtleties of our L-coding and building system. It is one of those material science things. It lets me get a sense of the depth of perhaps where their program went. There's no right answer, but I love it when I get somebody that has an art background, because titanium dioxide is one of the colorants in oil paints or in acrylic paints, because titanium oxide refracts light, and so when you heat titanium to particular temperatures, you can get coloration of the titanium. And there's all sorts of science behind it, but it's just really cool to be able to put a torch on titanium and get these colorations. Why? Because I'm curious, because I'm interested, because at some point I got some exposure to that, and because I'm using the material all the time, I'm doing a deep dive. It's like, oh, cool. I can do something a little different. So have those interests, have those passions, pursue them, find places to extend that education, to get the specialty insight, to work with someone who really knows that. But then also, just in whatever you're doing, be looking for the little things. Operate in wonder. Stay curious. Ask questions. Don't do it the same way they've always done it. Be looking for the new solutions. Ask why. You're going to find that you will learn tremendously. And if you're in the right environment, you will get the opportunity to bring this profession forward. So find those things and make what we do better. Now, just checking back, I want to make sure I've answered these questions well. Yeah, so I hope so. So I have no problem with someone expressing huge interests in particular things if they're considering a residency with me. And yet, I want them to be open to the larger world when it comes to, it's like, okay, so I understand you're really excited about scoliosis. I get that a lot. Because usually scoliosis instructors know their stuff and they're excited about it. But in the real world, you know, surgery's gotten a lot better and we're seeing a lot less of it. So just another slice of how you might need to be interested and adjust. I hope this helps and keeps you excited about what we do and how we can make a difference for folks. And I hope you nurture your passions so that you can make a difference in the world. I wish you well.